Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel, Anna Bella, and today I'm going to be doing a film review. Yes, I have been to the cinema. Again, I know, shocking. And I went to see Black Widow, which is going to, I think, become one of the most controversial Marvel/Disney movies ever made. But oh my goodness, there is so much to dissect here. Let's get to it. So, this film, Black Widow, is all about the origin of the Black Widow, or we've kind of had that in Age of Ultron, where we did get some flashbacks to the Red Room and the graduation ceremony. Yes, I will be saying the word hysterectomy and uterus removal and fallopian tubes and ovaries. It's one of the very, very few films ever where these female reproductive organs are actually talked about and discussed, because it is crucial to the training of a Black Widow assassin. In Age of Ultron, we see that they got ballet training for obvious reasons. To be a ballet dancer, you have to be precise again and again. It's also about obedience and discipline. It's very much like martial arts in that regard. They were also physically trained to perfection, and then they had to pass mental tests as well to show obedience and various other mental skills. And then if they passed all of these tests, they would then graduate and have the ceremony where they would have their reproductive organs removed, i.e. in women it's called a hysterectomy. In men it's called a vasectomy, where they tie the testes, but that's beside the point. It was all done so they wouldn't be bothered by menstruation or childbearing, so they'd be sent on any mission whatsoever and do anything, and I'm including some sexual missions obviously, purely because there wouldn't be any comeback. So it would actually enable them just to focus on their missions. Yes, I've still got tie-dye from this on my fingers. That's why they're the colour they are, just so you know. It's a strange movie, because it's a movie that is about a superhero, but it's not one I would recommend for the under 10s. It's a 12A in the UK, so 12 and over. In fact, I think that they spent far too much time on the swearing budget than they did with the actual gritty details. I'm going to come to the opening sequence, do not worry, that is on the cards. So it's more sort of, I found it as a film, it was more Natasha herself coming to terms with her past and exploring that, and actually what happened before her Black Widow training. Because before her Black Widow training, she and another girl were sent on an undercover mission as part of the USSR, because this is all to do with when Russia was the USSR and was a communist country, and so on and so forth. And we see some of that in Age of Ultron, because Natasha is actually one of the older members of the Avengers. She has had her life extended by various serums. She's not a mutant, but she's had gene manipulation. In fact, she was selected at birth for specific physical traits, which kind of sort of is mind-boggling to my mind. It's like, well, why don't you just harvest these girls' eggs, and then you can, like, put super soldier sperm with them, and then you can just make them. But that comes on to my next point, that is the intro. We will address that. So for Natasha, it is coming to terms with her past and acknowledging her future. It's also liberating the Black Widows from Dreykov. I'm saying his name right. And there's the Taskmaster, who traditionally in the comics was a boy, but in the movie is a girl. I'm not going to spoil that revelation, you can watch for yourself. I actually found that this movie spent far too much time setting stuff up and not telling you stuff. So you had overlong fight scenes and very little explanation. Yes, it was more like a mystery, which is good, but I was like, 2 hours and 15 minutes, is that really necessary? Some would call it a bit paddy. I really like Red Guardian. I thought he was brilliant. In fact, he was definitely a pig. and that is interesting. And Milena, their relationship just works because like it's just, yeah, you know that they vibe, but actually it's not seen because everything is hush 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 and we're USSR former operatives and we don't show feeling. Well, Milena doesn't anyway, but she does train pigs. Make of that what you will. I did enjoy seeing the Red Guard. He was much needed comic relief because this is a very dark film, and actually a lot of people have said they would have preferred to have seen sort of flashbacks to the Red Room. Even though we did see them in Age of Ultron, they would have preferred to see more of the training, but I guess that's probably why they didn't include that, because it would have been so gritty. Because the Black Widow training station and the Red Room training station that gets removed is the updated one. What Natasha went through no longer exists, and it was interesting that we were in Norway, that we were at Budapest, however you wish to pronounce it. There was lots of travel around the world, and that's what I think has been really great about the Marvel movies, is they have travelled around the world, and we have got to see different places and things, and the scenery is excellent. Love the heather. It was brilliant. I really liked the fact that Scarlett Johansson is continuing to play her. I was annoyed at the fact that there were 3 bottom shots of her butt. I was like, is that necessary? And also the word fanny was used, which to British audiences is just entirely inappropriate, because we actually call a bum bag what Americans call a fanny pack. You can't say that in the UK. You cannot say that at all, because it's at the front, and what is at the front of a woman? I'm not even going to go there. It's just so inappropriate. We call it a bum bag. It makes perfect sense to us. It's just not good. And I was shocked that the dog got called Fanny. I was like, no. And then they had Fanny Longbottom. I was like, no. Yeah, it was just several no's. I was just like, really? Do we really need this here? After that intro, which I'm getting to. Rachel West was well used, William Hurt is in, and several other people do stellar jobs, because this is a tricky thing to make accessible. Should it have got a 15? Possibly, I think. I think that there is a candidate for such treatment, and I know that that's kind of like shocking, but actually I think it probably should have done. The brilliant intro got over a hell of a lot of humps, because we had, oh my goodness, the themes. We had sex trafficking of women, sex trafficking of very young girls, exploitation of young girls, memory serums, knocking young girls out with drugs, sexual exploitation, possibly removal of uteruses without consent. The domination of men over women in this film is just so explored. I mean, the fact that he says that he's dealing with he's recycling unwanted girls, because there are more women on the planet than men. That is a fact. But some of the stuff was so shocking. I really loved the fact that they used Nirvana's song, Teenage Spirit, from the album Nevermind, in the intro. The first time I watched it, I was really shocked. It was like, oh my goodness, they've not done this. Second time I watched it, it was beautiful. Absolutely, it's art, but it is quite, whoa, we went there and we did that, and that's within like the first sort of bit, and I fully appreciate that. The scenes of them as a family at the start are just so beautiful, and then when you find out something later, you're just crushed inwardly. The fact that they spent 3 years, yeah, the whole thing is just mind-bogglingly like, oh yeah, it's a mind job. And there's a lot of, like, the performances are brilliant, particularly of Black Widow's sister. Stunning. Yes, we do get to see her grave. Do stay for the end credit scene, because there is one. I just adored this movie. Out of 5, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. It was everything, but the pace, there was a pacing issue, I think. And I fully get why they did give it 2 hours and 15 minutes. I fully get that, because people want to acknowledge the wonder that is Natasha Romanoff. And it's not necessarily her origin story, it's more her coming to terms with her past so that she can go on and accept her future, which we obviously know if you've seen Endgame and the Infinity War series of films. But oh my goodness, it's a brilliant tribute to Natasha and to Scarlett Johansson, by the way, as well. Brilliant performance. 5 out of 5. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe. I haven't given you too many spoilers, and yes, the tie-dye has come out really nice, but check out this movie. You can see it on Disney Plus. I went to my local Odeon. There was hardly anybody there, so it was great for social distancing. Thanks for your support, and stay safe wherever you are.